Can you believe it, Kristen? This is the last episode of season one.
I know. We better be making something great. We need to go out with a bang.
I don't think it's going to be so much of a bang as it will be a jiggle.
Ooh, and a wiggle? I see where you're going with this. Let's get started. Welcome to Mom's Wooden Spoon.
Get your apron on and your fanny flicker ready as we cook up some nostalgia.
Ooh, yummy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last episode of season one.
I cannot believe it.
I can't either.
Boy, this season has flown by. We have had so much fun.
We really have.
Yeah.
And I will say by and large, the things that we've made have been far better than I ever anticipated. There was a clunk here and there.
Yeah.
But I mean, many a time we anticipated disaster
Yeah.
and were pleasantly surprised. It
That's
might
right.
not have been something we wanted over and over,
Right.
but it was not,
Gross you out. No.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad. And I want everybody to know that even though this is our last episode, keep in touch with us, check social media, because we're going to be still active on social media throughout our little hiatus until we
for
start
sure.
again. I
Right.
think we're only going to take a 2-3 month hiatus and we'll be right back at you. But we're going to want your opinions.
Yes. I mean, maybe you could shape next season. You
Yes,
never know.
indeed. So watch our social media. We're definitely going to be chatting with you all and seeing what we can do to make next season even better.
That's a high bar, Kristen, because
I
we're pretty
know.
amazing.
I know, right?
Okay, enough about that. Today we're going to make from an August 1997 memo,
Yep.
creamy coleslaw.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, woo, creamy coleslaw. I make that all the time.
Right.
I can go up to the grocery store, buy myself a nice gallon of creamy coleslaw.
Yeah.
Big whoop, folks.
Woohoo.
The twist is that it is in lime jello.
Oh man, for a recipe in 97, we talked about this before when we did our corned beef and lemon jello episode, that 97 was certainly not a heyday of gelatin molds.
No, so twice
Yeah.
in the same year. And I do think that unlike the corned beef one,
Mhm.
where the jello was really kind of more of a binder,
Right.
now I think this is like your traditional jello salad.
It will be very interesting to see because I'm a little concerned when I was buying the jello for this recipe. Mary's memo actually says buy the 16-ounce pack of jello. Well, jello don't come in 16-ounce packages.
Not even close.
No, it's a 6-ounce.
Yeah, it
pack.
has to be a typo.
I'm assuming because if the larger of the jello boxes is only 6 ounces, can you imagine putting 3 of those in here?
No.
No.
I mean, that would be like rubber.
Right.
Creamy coleslaw in rubber.
That's
It would
right.
bounce, so that would be fun.
Well, I looked at the recipe while I was at the grocery store and it had the amount of liquid in it that you would put into a 6-ounce box of
Okay.
jello. So I figured,
I feel confident moving forward.
I do too.
Okay, but one more thing to discuss prior to our forward movement.
Oh.
So this creamy coleslaw includes raisins.
Oh.
So we all know Carrie's stance on raisins. Not a fan, particularly if you rehydrate them.
Oh, right.
I cannot imagine raisins in my coleslaw.
I mean, there are jokes all over the internet about people putting raisins in potato salad, putting raisins in macaroni salad.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And so
Oh.
to put raisins in the coleslaw, I'm thinking maybe we should just skip this.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
good answer.
Really?
Yes, because
Okay.
I oddly enough
Yeah.
am kind of excited about this one.
Oh, that is odd.
I
Carrie.
know it
Yeah.
totally is. For some reason in my brain, these flavors are going to combine together in a
Yeah.
delightful, light, delicious way.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why that is what I'm thinking.
I don't know why either.
But when I looked through that recipe and I saw that there were raisins, like hard stop.
Right.
I'm like, whoa, I'm done.
Not to mention the raisins I have are the raisins that we used in the lard cookies.
The raisins the size of a chihuahua?
They're huge.
So I'm going to stop beating that to
I
death.
think you have
You jumped
beaten
right
that
up.
to death.
I am going to
Yes.
take this can of raisins
Move it
and
away.
put it on out.
Yep. And while you do that, I'm going to start heating up the water in the microwave because we have to have boiling water to start making the jello.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I recall correctly, after we get the jello made, we're going to add it to some mayonnaise and some other things. So, Kristen, have you heard of Minnesota Mom?
I love her.
So this is way too salady. Like there's no marshmallows in it.
Right.
No Cool
No,
Whip.
she makes a Snickers bar salad.
Oh, she
Yeah.
makes, which I do have memories of.
Mhm.
It's a Jello salad, and it has a pretzel crust, and
Yes.
then the strawberry. Oh my
Oh,
gosh!
yeah.
Okay, so I'm all on that salad for sure.
Absolutely. I watch her on TikTok and she's hilarious.
She is.
Yep.
She very much is. And so, anyway, since we're making a salad in Jello, it does make me think of her. So here's our salad. It's not really a salad.
It is. Oh gosh, with the Jello in it and no raisins, thank goodness.
Yes, I feel like we're already winning
Oh,
today.
That's
already.
right. And you know, Jello is so hugely popular still in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep, you can find it at church potlucks. You can find it at family events.
You can find it at the grocery store.
Oh, yes, you can.
Mhm.
So I am putting 1 cup of mayo into the big bowl, and we're going to make the Jello itself in a little bowl because her directions very clearly state that you need to gradually add the Jello to the mayo.
Interesting.
Yeah, and sometimes that really changes things when you add one thing to another. That if you add, a hot thing to a cold thing,
a
that's
wet thing to a dry
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because it's going to be hot when we do that. I wonder if it'll kind of melt the mayonnaise a bit. It's going to
Well,
be very interesting.
that's what happened when we made our corned beef mold. All right.
Okay, so the original kind of Jello, if you will,
Yeah.
were aspics.
That's right.
Yes, and I have to say, I find aspics to be conceptually one of the most unappealing foods I can fathom.
Well, yes, because tomato aspic is a very famous
Yeah.
style, and to eat gelatinized tomato juice is just not my favorite idea.
No, and then like the meats and in this gelatinous. Okay,
Yes,
just
yes.
all in all, not appealing to me. But I found something that I thought was fascinating that helped me kind of understand. Okay, so first people did it way back in the day, like
Yes.
old time ago, because it would keep the air from touching these foods. So like you cook some meat, you had leftover meat.
Right.
If you put it in the gel, it would keep longer
Right.
because you didn't have it exposed to, bacteria and yuckiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. It still sounds gross. But the concept is that you made this like meat broth that you then gelatized.
Yes, yes.
But when you took a bite of it, the meat broth would in essence melt. And so in your mouth, you have broth and meat and whatever else is. And I thought, well, that is not a disgusting concept at all.
No.
So really, the only reason I'm sharing this is because for me, it took something that sounded so disgusting.
Yeah.
And made me go, oh, maybe there's a hope to that.
Yeah.
Now that does not fix tomato aspect in any
No.
way, except maybe you're just making some tomato soup in your mouth.
Well, I suppose you could do that with like beet juice and have borscht.
There you go.
I'm adding the boiling water to the Jello now. You guys probably heard me ripping open that package very loud. All right, and so I'm going to whisk this about until it's dissolved, and then
Oh, it smells so good.
it smells limey. So good. The weird thing is that now we're going to add some cold water, but I had to remove 2 tablespoons of the cold water and substitute 2 tablespoons of white vinegar.
I'm curious what the vinegar does to the gelatin. Is there like a chemical reaction?
I don't think so. I think it's to make this taste like a tangy coleslaw.
Okay.
Well, that's my guess.
So speaking of tangy coleslaw,
Tangy.
which is interesting as the name of the recipe is creamy coleslaw.
Yes.
But as it turns out, coleslaw types are numerous and regional.
Oh, and they are highly debated.
Yes.
People have very strong opinions on coleslaw, I found.
They do indeed. I clearly am familiar with the creamy coleslaw. I am familiar with the tangy coleslaw where you have the vinegar kind of base.
That's right.
Are you aware of the red coleslaw?
No, do they use red cabbage for it?
Ketchup.
No, I have not heard of that.
It is called Lexington style red slaw.
Well, you used to live in Lexington. Did you ever have red slaw?
No, but you know what I did have in Lexington?
What?
I had coleslaw on a barbecue meat sandwich for the first time in my life.
Now, my husband loves that on pulled pork barbecue
that's
sandwich.
what it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was life altering.
It's really good. Now, some people hate this, but I like this.
So good. I did not know such a delicacy existed.
I know, right?
Well, you know what else? And living in the Atlanta area where the varsity reigns supreme.
Oh, yes.
Coleslaw
Yes.
on a hot dog, a slaw dog.
Oh, I've had a slaw dog. It's pretty good.
Oh, I love a slaw dog.
Do you now?
Oh, I do.
Whoa. Now, guys, you may have heard some clinking and clunking here. That's because the directions say to stir the Jell-O into the mayo and have the bowl you're putting everything into on ice. So I'm slowly adding this Jell-O to the mayo, and it is totally liquefying. Now, this does not smell that great. You want to get a whiff of this?
Oh, sure.
It's
It looks
Hellman's.
pretty.
It does. It looks gorgeous. Hellman's Light Mayo in the lime Jell-O. It does not smell yummy.
It smells horrible.
Let me get the rest of the Jell-O added in, and maybe the lime will take over the mayo flavor, you know?
It looks beautiful.
Well, I'm telling you what, I think it's going to cause us both to have to go potty. Ready? Uh-oh. Excuse me, folks, for just a minute.
Feel free to pause, run to the bathroom if you need to.
Our dad jokes about that every time he does the dishes.
Hot water.
Get
Oh,
his-
I inherited that
If you
gene.
get your hands in hot water, you have to go potty.
I have to too. And my daughter will come in. She's like, Mom, stop with the pee-pee dance. Just go. And I'm like, it's 2 more dishes. I'll make it through.
Isn't that funny?
Sorry about the overshare here, folks. Looking for greeting cards.
What?
I don't know what it is, but I get to the store, I start perusing greeting cards, and I immediately have to go to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. Online, they talk about that certain stores make people have to go poo. Like you walk in the door, and you instantly have to go poo. I think that, let's see, Michael's is one of them. It might be Marshall's is another.
I have never heard of anything like that.
Yes, and so people who were having trouble with constipation.
Oh, that's so funny. Just walk on into a Michael's.
That's
See if
right.
that'll take care of it. Gosh, guys, we're here for your health benefits as well.
are. We aren't going to let you down.
What a full service podcast we are.
We are indeed. You know,
Man.
back to the whole coleslaw thing. When I was looking up info for this recipe, I found it really funny because there are some people who cannot stand coleslaw of any kind.
Okay, not even KFC. It has to be the best coleslaw.
I love it. And I'm not the biggest fan of coleslaw. Sometimes I feel like there's too much mayo in it and it kind of grosses me out. But KFC is delicious every time.
It's insanely delicious.
It is. But
okay, so the people who disagree with us completely.
That's right. I found some articles, and here are the article titles I think you'll appreciate.
Okay.
Article number 1, coleslaw is a garbage food made by demons. Okay, that was a good one. That was a good
Demon
one.
1 here, Demon 2 over there.
Here's another one. Why coleslaw sucks, and so do the people who eat it.
I'm so sorry if we're making you feel that way about us.
And then my other favorite, the best way to enjoy coleslaw, throw it directly into the trash.
That's funny.
I know, right? They have very strong feelings about that.
Fantastic.
All right, so now we have this liquidy. No, it still smells an awful lot like eggy mayo with this bright lime scent behind it. Not my fave.
Well, the good thing is we're not stopping here. So
Yep.
hopefully that'll work well.
Now it's saying to keep stirring it over ice until it's slightly thickened. This is my same problem with the corned beef one. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but
You
that's
know?
not it.
Okay, so we'll just keep stirring it. Carrie
I think
is
that's a good
chopping
idea.
the celery.
I am. I'm trying to make it just as small as I possibly can.
Yes. It's so funny that this gelatin recipe and the one that we did with the corned beef in it are both from 1997.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
As we discussed earlier, it's not really the Jello heyday.
No, and I thought of Mary as being really keeping with the times.
I think she very much was.
Yeah.
And she would pull from local things like what fruits and vegetables were in season
That's right.
and all of that kind of thing in selecting her recipes. So it
Right.
does seem odd that 97 was kind of her year of Jello
I
salad.
guess so, but maybe Jello was still a thing in the Midwest in 97.
I'm going to go no.
Okay. Well, I was trying to give Mary the benefit of the doubt.
But maybe she was just longing for a good Jello salad. It had been a good 20 years since she'd had one, and she's like, you know what? I'm bringing it back. This stuff was good.
I'm bringing
it.
Jello back. Actually, 97 was the year that Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out.
The book.
The book.
Really?
I did not remember it being so old.
Well, it's because you don't remember that you're so old.
Dang it.
I know. 97, it just seems like it was yesterday.
It really does.
I know. It's not.
There were some funny things that I found online. They were talking about what were some of the things that we actually had at that time. There was something fancy and new called texting. And the Walkman CD player.
Oh, that was big news.
That was.
You had to get one that was like buffering, right? Anti-skip.
Yes.
Anti-skip.
Anti-skip, for sure. And then talk about buffering. The internet was pretty new in 97. And so we had dial-up, and make that crackly, loud, screechy noise.
Yeah.
Wow. Floppy disk, floppy disk.
Oh, floppy disk. I didn't know what you were saying.
We had some floppy disks. So do you remember going to Dad's school, probably over the summer?
Oh, yes.
Grabbing the floppy disk for the Oregon Trail. Popping that in.
And then going to the teacher's lounge, which just felt so amazing and forbidden.
Yes.
And opening the soda cooler.
Yes.
It was, like a cube, and you open the top of the cube, and inside it were metal wires. And they were loops so that the top of the bottles would hang into this cooler. And you'd put your quarter in, or whatever it was, nickel, and it would release. So you could pull out a bottle and slide it all the way across.
I don't remember all those details.
Yep. And then it had, in the front, it had a bottle opener and a little place, even cooler, to catch the cap, and it came off.
Oh, man.
Right in there. Oh, that was the coolest.
It was so cool. I'll tell you what, an ice cold soda in a glass bottle, there is nothing like it.
While playing the Oregon Trail.
Oh, yeah. Or if we
were
lucky.
Dysentery.
Oh, I know. Man. But if we were lucky, we played Go to the Head of the Class. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember anything about the game.
No.
All I remember is you calling it Gerder the Head of the Class. And you would say that, I don't know, ad nauseum. I don't think I've ever heard Gerder the Head of your class just once. It always came in at least pairs.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that. I'm like, oh, she can't possibly remember how dumb I was.
I know nothing about the game other than it was called
Gerder the Head of your class. Oh, man, that is so lame. Oh,
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I think that's genius. So now we're all just kind of standing around staring at you, Kristen, as you stir.
It doesn't seem any thicker than it was before.
It really doesn't.
I'm not quite sure what to do about it.
We just need to let it go.
Slightly thickened. One would think that if you wanted to, it says fold in the cabbage. So this can't possibly be thickened enough. Right. No. If you're going to fold something into it, this is just would splash into it.
Oh, it's liquid.
It really is.
Yeah. Do you remember the Jello salads when we were a kid, obviously at the
Yeah.
church potlucks? Somebody would take those pastel mini marshmallows
Oh,
and
yeah.
sprinkle them all over the top.
Yes, you got that every time we went to a potluck.
Uh-huh. I did. And thinking back, it was gross.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Oh,
really
yeah.
gross. And the marshmallows on the top, like the ones that were kind of touching and in the Jello,
Yeah.
were mushy.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones on the top were stale because they've been
Right,
sitting out.
right.
So, I mean, it was
not
no,
good.
but I am sure that if you watched
Yeah.
Minnesota Mom, salads that
Right.
are not really salads, that's got to be in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
The
Those,
pastel mini marshmallow Jello
absolutely. I
salad.
mean, they look so pretty, right?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, back in the heyday of Jello,
Mhm.
which was around the 50s,
Yeah.
they actually started making savory Jello flavors.
What? Like you could just buy a box of salmon Jello?
No, it wasn't salmon. That would be so gross. Oh God, it's gonna make me gag. Think about it. No, they had vegetable flavors.
Oh.
So you could get celery Jello. Ooh, mixed vegetable Jello. And one I found, which makes me extremely nervous, Italian salad Jello.
What could be more delicious?
They ended up pulling that off the shelves in the
Clearly.
mid-70s, right? It just was not getting the traction they wanted.
No.
But I was wondering why on earth these crazy Jello recipes started to come out. I mean, we see all over the internet where there's this gorgeous Jello mold, but it has hot dogs and green olives in it.
Always green
Why?
olives.
It is because brands would publish their own cookbooks. So Jello brand cookbooks, or maybe it was a brand that sold cottage cheese or cream cheese. And so these different companies would come up with their own cookbook and they wouldn't have enough to make out of that single product like Jello. So they came up with, how can we get every meal of the day into our product?
Yuck.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something to behold.
Yeah, so some of the craziest recipes were found in those brand cookbooks that would come out.
Truly just marketing.
Oh, yeah.
But somebody went for it. Somebody
guess.
read that recipe and thought, I too want hot dogs, hard boiled eggs, and
green
sliced
olives.
green olives
Yeah.
in Jello.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know what, Carrie? I think we're going to have to sign off for a bit.
I think you're right. We may be here for a couple hours. Like, I think we're going to need to forget the ice bath. The whole thing needs to go in the fridge.
I think so too. This is not getting thick enough to fold the veggies into.
Not even close.
No.
So we are going to use any and every refrigerative option we have available to us.
Refrigerative. Yep.
Refrigerative.
Yep.
Get this bad boy cool and thick, and we shall return in just a half a second. We have pulled the Jello out of the refrigerator. There is a chance that we left it in there too long.
So it's pretty solid.
It is. So this will be fascinating.
I'm guessing that as we stir in the veggies, it might liquefy it a little bit.
You think?
Let's try it. It's not that
Oh,
solid.
no, it's not. Okay.
So I'll just mix the Jello mayo mixture a little bit. Can you hear it?
I've got to
Get down really close. That's the stuff nightmares are made of right there.
You do want to spray your mold because getting stuff out of a mold is tricky.
It is really tricky. I think tomorrow when we go to take this out of the mold, we're going to have to put it in a hot water bath.
Oh, no. Minnesota Mom said you put it in warm water, not hot.
Well, thank you, Minnesota Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm spraying this. And Carrie finally let me use my pretty mold that has what looks like bananas on it and slices of pineapple where you can put the half a maraschino cherry in there. She wouldn't let me do this on the other episode where we made Jello, the corned beef. She was afraid.
I like the way she makes it sound like I dictate her behavior.
Oh, she does.
She's the older sister. I dictate nothing.
Okay, so it's
right.
been sprayed.
So the spray is done.
Yeah,
and now cabbage,
Yeah.
carrots, celery.
Ooh, that's a lot of cabbage.
Well, so this is kind of interesting because the way we're doing this is that it absolutely is going to be throughout the entire Jello.
That's true.
There's no way that this is all falling to the bottom.
No way. So we will never get just an exclusive bite of that mayo Jello mixture.
Right. It sure looks like it could use some raisin. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So it's well stirred. We're going to put it
is.
in the little ring.
I want a scoop.
Okay, you do the scoop. I think this is going to fill this particular mold right up to the very top.
I do. I think this is going to be the perfect mold for this.
Well, I hope it looks pretty.
Okay, now I'm taking my spoon and I'm smoothing it down.
It so
fits
pretty.
this mold perfectly.
It does. I just hope that we did not leave the Jello in the fridge too long.
I know, and that it actually solidifies now. All right. I think this is going into the fridge, and then tomorrow we will have the big reveal.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited because it's really pretty.
I agree completely. You know what I would love to do with all these Jello recipes?
What?
I would love to do one after another, and then just have like a meal of Jello or like a party where everybody brings their Jello. I did see somebody, they call her like the aspic lady.
No.
And pre-COVID, she had an aspic party.
Oh,
and so they had all different kinds of aspic. They did 3 before COVID, and then they didn't get together for a while. But she said by the 3rd one, everybody's was delicious.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, what a fun thing.
It would be cool
to just have a Jello throwback party.
Yes.
Berries, because you had a party and you had used some of Mary's memos.
That's right. We basically had a Mary's memo party where we cooked all the foods were cooked from Mary's memos.
And you used this Jello mold right here
I
to
did.
make. It was called like a
white wedding salad, but it really was just a Jello mold that was plain gelatin, and then it had cream and sugar in it, and then you unmolded it and you served it with fresh berries. It was so good.
It really was.
I couldn't believe it.
It was kind of creme brulee tasting without the crunchy topping.
Yes.
And, which is so delicious with berries. I went back for seconds on that one.
It was a big hit.
All right, y'all, I think we've jawed at you enough.
Yep.
We're going to get this sucker in the fridge and stay tuned for the big reveal. The Jello mold has chilled overnight.
It's been chilling.
It has, like a weasel. Nice Pauly Shore reference.
Nice.
For my 80 nerds. Not 80 of them. 80s nerds.
That's right. We may have 80 nerds that follow us.
That would be awesome.
I'm certainly one of them.
I would feel like we had found success if we had
80 nerds. I love me some nerds.
Okay, we digress.
Okay, yes.
So I'm looking at the Jello mold, and it looks exactly like it did yesterday.
Yes.
I think we over-chilled it yesterday.
Before we folded the items in.
Yes.
I'm thinking this is going to come out in one big gloppy mess.
I think that's absolutely correct.
But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take it and put the bottom of it in warm water.
Don't get the water on the top.
No, that would be horrible.
Bad.
So I'm just going to let it. Oh, look, it's floating right in there. Okay, we'll let that in the warm water for a few minutes, and then we'll try to flip it.
Then we'll see what happens.
Although I sprayed it with the avocado oil spray, and the spray comes out thicker than like your normal Pam spray does.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, and so I can kind of see some oily bits. So maybe it's well oiled enough; it will come out.
It sounds so unappealing to have a nice oil coating on our Jello mold.
It's avocado. It'll go well with coleslaw.
Oh, perfect. What could go wrong? I am looking at it thinking, I'm so glad there are not raisins in there.
Me too.
I think that was a wise choice.
I think it was.
I think if my mom had made this, or even your mom,
our mom,
that she would have gone the no raisins route.
It's so funny. Sometimes we tell stories on here and we say, my mom, even though we're both standing here and it's our mom. But throughout this season, we'll start to tell a story, you or I, and we'll go, my mom said blah, blah, blah. It's weird. It's just weird.
There's all kinds of things we do that's weird. And no need to narrow it down to just one.
I think there's going to be oil just all over the place.
I'm kind of nervous about that.
But it is kind of shaky away from the sides.
It does look like it's going to come out.
Oh, I heard it.
Yes, I see it. Oh, it's a little runny. It's
runny.
it's runny.
It's
So
runny.
do we take paper towels and
Yes.
sop up the run? I think we let it sit in the warm water for too long.
I can't believe it. It wasn't that long. Maybe this is all the oil that was in the pan.
I don't know.
It smells horrific.
No, really?
Get down there and smell that.
It's the mayonnaise. It really smells like mayonnaise.
It really does. Okay, I'm going to use this little pie server and kind of see if we can give ourselves a slice.
I think. Let's see if it works.
It's very jello-y.
Let me get a plate out for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we messed up a little bit.
Yep.
In two ways. We did not follow Mary's directions, which said very clearly to stir it over an ice bath, not to put it in the fridge to get it to be a little thickened, right?
Yes, that is true.
And we got it in the fridge, and then we got talking, and then when we pulled it out, it was too gelled.
Us talking?
Nah.
What you're talking about?
And then I think I did put it in the warm water. I just never imagined that warm water would do such a great job on molding it.
I am going to dive in. This is my responsibility to take a bite of this mayonnaise concoction and jello.
It is your responsibility.
It is quite the texture.
All right, pop that in your mouth, Carrie, so that we can move on with the show. And you know what? She's not looking grossed out. It's crunchy.
It's not gross.
Can you taste the lime jello?
The amazing part is you cannot taste the mayonnaise.
No, because you can smell the mayonnaise.
Totally smell
and it does not smell yummers.
But the flavor is all lime jello. It is lime with flavorless crunch in it. Now, thank the goodness.
That's a new one.
Thank the goodness that there are not raisins, because I cannot fathom in the midst of that lime jello blandness getting a ball of raisin sweet tartness in addition.
I don't know. It may help hide the flavor, because I do taste the mayo flavor on the back end, and it is just not my favorite. But then again, different mayos taste differently, especially light mayos. They have a very distinct flavor because they have to make up for all of that fat that they've taken out, right?
Yes, of course.
And so I wonder if this would taste better with just full fat mayo.
It very well might.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in for a second bite. Not because I love it, but because I want to paint a better picture if at all possible.
Okay. That is absolutely not my favorite at all.
I do not care for it. I do not taste much mayonnaise at all. I really just taste lime.
I wish I only tasted the lime.
To have jello that's cloudy like this with the mayonnaise in it, I mean, nobody does that anymore.
No.
Completely retro. So I don't know, if you're having a jello party and you need a fabulous side, maybe this is absolutely the way to go.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is for today's folks or not. Not for me. I would skip that at all costs.
No, I will not be having a party featuring a luncheon featuring a side of creamy coleslaw.
Now, wait a minute. That is true. But Mary tells us to have it with a sandwich. So if I could take a bite of the sandwich to hide the flavor of the coleslaw, I might be okay. No. Okay.
All right. Well, with that lovely idea, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had as much fun listening to us as we did making this gelatinous delight.
Yum, yum, yum.
We are wrapping up season 1 of Mom's Wooden Spoon. And we just cannot thank you enough for joining us on this wild ride.
It's been wild. Thank you, everyone.
We do plan to be back in late August or early September, and we will absolutely keep you posted as season 2 gets closer. So please follow us on social media if you're not already, as you may get the chance to impact next season.
Oh, yeah. So keep in touch. Feel free to email us on the website. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, check out our website for lots of goodies. And don't forget to leave us some positive feedback if you have enjoyed Mom's Wooden Spoon. Thanks for listening to Mom's Wooden Spoon. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe. If you want a copy of this recipe or to check out our blog, click on the link to our website in the podcast description. If you'd rather, you could get to our website through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Pick your poison.
Don't say poison. We're making food.